ladies. You are listening to Women Emerging Fearlessly. Did you know that 4 out of 5 women struggle with confidence and knowing who they are? This show is dedicated to helping women lead their lives with fearless confidence and to know how amazing they truly are. In the show, you will hear from women who are emerging fearlessly, who have overcome many obstacles to pursue their dreams and passions, and they will inspire you and encourage you to stand up, step out, and speak up. Be your authentic self and bring your true gifts to the world. My name is Janelle Anderson, and I am your host. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave a great review and subscribe and share it with your friends. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. This is Janelle Anderson, and I'm excited to welcome onto the show today a new friend of mine, and she is also a coach. So her name is Wendi Hatton, and Wendi is a Navy veteran. She was actually named Woman of the Year in 2015, 2016. That's pretty cool. My dad was a Navy man, Navy in career Navy. Yeah. She received the honorarium VIP member by the National Association of Professional Women. That's so cool. And she was featured in the fall 2015 issue of the Women of Distinction magazine. And Wendi's a business growth coach, and she's also a LinkedIn specialist, which I want to chat about today because that's something I need to know more about. But she helps entrepreneurs build lucrative businesses and cultivate powerful collaborations. And that's huge. And she uses a proprietary method that she calls the Max Leads Formula and Compassionate Selling Method so that entrepreneurs can increase their leads and up-level their sales. So very cool. And she's also a professional clarinetist. Yes. And I know we chatted a little bit about our interest in music and how, that really is a great stress reliever and creative outlet. So welcome to the show, Wendi. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Janelle. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Super fun. So tell us a little bit about your story. Yeah.
Okay. So I was actually in the Navy band. That's what I was doing before I started coaching. So when I retired, I, knew that I had to keep making some kind of income. And so I decided to start a studio of clarinet students, and they would come in, take lessons, or I would go to a school and teach lessons. And so, as I was doing that for a few years, I was thinking, this is fine, but I don't know if I really want to do this for the rest of my life. Right. And that's when I discovered coaching, and it was actually health coaching. I had recently lost a lot of weight, and so I thought, maybe I could help people lose weight. So for a couple of years, I was doing that. I was helping people. We would get groups together, and the accountability and all the inspiration and everything, help them lose weight. But then, in the process, I had 2 other health coach friends, and we decided, the 3 of us, to start actually a podcast radio show, like from the Blog Talk Radio. Yeah. And it's called Sky's the Limit Radio. So we did that for 5 years. And in the process of interviewing coaches of all different niches, I got to be friends with a few of them, and I just kind of got a common comment back from them saying that, they wished that they could get more clients. They have this great service. They can really provide a lot and help people change their lives, but they're just not getting the clients. So that's when I said, I think I'm going to go and learn how to help these people and, take some sales and marketing courses and everything. And so that's how I got to this point right now. So I have expanded to more than just coaches, but that's how I got to this place from coaching, from health to the business coaching.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a nice transition, nice shift there. And I think that's really cool thing to think about for women entrepreneurs to know that. And the same thing with me, like you get on the road and you start down a road, but at some point you start to find that you really want to go more in a different direction. And that's okay. I think a lot of times people are afraid to launch a business and get really clear on what they want to do the business around, especially coaching, because they think, oh, this is it. I'm going to get stuck in this niche or this path that I'm on forever, but you can actually change and shift and go with what you feel, is the direction for you, and that's really cool, I think.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely for sure.
So, what was the main reason? So the main reason for you was that you just saw these women like really needing help with their business.
Right. And they were just doing that, the radio show, it helped me learn about coaching in general and how amazing it is for people to change their lives through coaching. And so I really wanted to help them share their message and get the word out for them so that they could have more exposure, but then let's say they get possible people to hire them and then they go, oh no, now I have to go do the selling part.
Yes.
So they get stuck with that.
Boy, that's a big one. Yeah. And having those conversations, and how do you talk to people in a way that doesn't feel pushy and salesy? How do you, as women, we want to nurture the relationship. We want to have authentic conversations and show up in service. And it's hard to build that skill to actually close the sale when you need to, or
that's true.
Do the marketing.
That's a big roadblock for sure. That's where my compassionate selling method comes from. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, actually, the word selling is an acronym. And I have an acronym for sales as well. So those two words are not the friendliest or nicest for just in general.
Yeah.
So these two acronyms really change the way they mean to a person. So selling. So that SELLING is support, educate, love, lean in, inspire, nurture, and guide. And so nice. You can always think of those things. Like I have my clients just think of those words when they're thinking of the word selling, and then just kind of think about it before they go to bed. Just think of those words, think of what they mean to them, and then wake up in the morning and think of those words again. And then there's also another one for sales, which is serve, appreciate, listen every step. So that's where sales comes from. SALES.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mindset trick or change, thinking about those words, since we're in business, so we have to sell and we have to be in the sales mode. So if you could just think of those words, then it would be you'll just think of those before you have to speak to someone or before you have to do a little sales call. Just think of those words and it'll help you get through the conversation a lot easier, better.
Yeah, that's excellent. I think you could use those words to create your approach, and even like what you're going to say, plan what you're going to say if you are thinking about it as serving, as the listening and leaning in, like you said, inspiring. Like if you're thinking of those words before a call, you're going to show up in this different space than instead of like trying to convince somebody to buy from you. You're showing up like, I want to inspire this person. I want to love them. I want to listen to them and find out what they need and where they're coming from. And that's a whole different approach. And people really feel that when they're talking to somebody that's approaching them that way. They don't feel being sold to. They feel like they're really listened to.
Right. And then the love piece, you love the whole process that you're going through. You love what they are contributing to the world. And so just that whole mindset just takes you away from the icky, manipulative feeling. For sure.
Yeah. And then the whole process is so much easier and not so scary. And you'll you find yourself approaching more people, which will help your business grow.
That's for sure.
That's excellent. Well, what are the first steps that you teach your clients to get started so they can get results?
Well, when I teach them about the collaboration, process, the very first thing that someone needs to do is to what I call it's engaged appreciation. And so what that means is I have them make a list of, say, 10 to 20 people, not necessarily potential partners, but just anyone in their life that they genuinely appreciate and admire and respect. And you make a list of them. And I'm sure everyone has a list of those people. But the thing that we don't do is actually reach out to that person and tell them that you appreciate them and why it is. So it's a really powerful exercise, because once you just think of the people and then you just write a real genuine, authentic note to them, a couple sentences or more. I really appreciate you because you did this for me and it did so much for me, or whatever. And you send that to this person. They are going to read it and respond back to you with appreciation as well. So that's what makes it so powerful, because you're actually training them to respond back to you. Like, some people may not respond, but they'll read it and they'll go, wow, that's really nice of them to say that. I had no idea that she thought that about me. So that's kind of the first step that I have them do. And then after that, I have them make another list of people who they know in their industry, who they really appreciate, maybe a mentor or maybe a potential client or a client, just making a list of all of those people and doing the same thing. So that way your reputation is going to turn into something that's really good and powerful. And one sentence that you want to learn to say to your potential partners and just really anyone would be, how can I support you? Yes. So that's a great sentence to say, because you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about them. And so you get real great responses, and people remember you, because not everyone does that, for sure.
That's true. Yeah. I always say, well, my mentor says, I'm not in the business of convincing people to buy from me. I'm in the business of serving them. I'm in the business of inviting them if they want to take part in my program or whatever. So it's more of an invitation. Right. Yeah.
Another thing I like to teach is, how the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
Well, I turn it around to what I heard about recently, the platinum rule, which kind of turns it around. It's like, do unto others as they would want to be done for them, because a lot of times people don't want the same thing that you do. So you find out about the person, you get to know them, start a relationship, and then you know what they want and how they want to be treated. And so that's how that works.
That's perfect.
For sure.
Yeah. Being curious about them and put yourself in their shoes, and then how can I support them
and offer them help? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice way to go, for sure. Excellent. So, I just thought it'd be cool to talk a little bit about coaching itself. It's not something I talk about a lot. And since I have a coach with me today on this episode, I was curious to hear from you. Like, what do you feel like are the most powerful aspects of coaching? What have you found to really help people?
My idea of coaching now is coaching, and then with some consulting kind of type thing. But the coaching side of it is empowering, because you are helping the person bring out their strengths, just because some people may not realize what their strengths are or what they're compassionate about or passionate about. So by asking questions helps them bring these things out to them, and helps empower them to do what it is that they really want to do in their life for whatever it is. Like if you're coaching moms with kids that are disruptive and things like that, you ask them a bunch of questions like, this is what's happening now, but what do you want to have happen like in 6 months? Like how would you like your son to be acting in 6 months? And so you set a goal, you start at the beginning and set a goal for what they want, like in 6 months or a year. And then you break it up into like 6 month increments or quarterly increments. That's always a good time frame to reach your goals. It's like every quarter, figure out what you want to accomplish. So basically, from what I'm thinking as far as coaching is to keep people on track. First get their goals straight, then decide what they want to do in order to reach the goals, break it up into different time frames, smaller time frames, and then just keep them on track. Just keep them reminding them that this is what you're going to be doing. So this is what you want. So let's keep going that direction, because so many people can just fall off. They can make all these plans, goals and plans, and then life happens. And so they stop doing it or get off track. So that's mainly what I feel like coaching is all about, just keeping people on track on the goals that they want, basically, and then teaching through the process. As you've got expertise and knowledge, so you can help them by sharing your knowledge with them as well.
Right. And I think, the piece of keeping them on track and helping them set the goals and keeping them on track is huge, because like you said, most of us don't stick to it if we don't have that accountability, and if we don't have that person kind of holding us accountable to it and helping us to set goals that are achievable. And then helping us to figure out if we didn't reach the goal, what got in our way and how can we make a better goal? Like all of that, people don't usually do that on their own. They'll set a goal and then something happens, they get distracted or thrown off in some way. And then they feel like a failure because they didn't achieve the goal. That's
true. So many people, in the celebrity world could use coaching. I could say.
So true. A lot of them have coaches, actually.
Yeah, a lot of them do have coaches. There are a few that I think could use.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I always say everybody should have a coach, because there's just something really powerful about having that person in your corner that's there just to focus on you. They're not there to get in the story with you or to turn it around to themselves. Like they're totally focused on you and listening to you. And like you said, like helping you discover things about yourself that you wouldn't normally see. And then keeping you on track towards your goals. And, there are things like with my coach that she has brought out that I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that I need to do that. Like, because like you said, she has this expertise and is able to draw out of me all kinds of things that I didn't know were there, or I didn't have them like organized. I'm all over the place, or I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next. And
Right. Yeah, definitely. I hope to one day be able to have a business where there's a part of it that helps even people who can't really afford coaching. So, the underserved, the people who really want to achieve things and could really use a coach, but just can't afford it. I'm thinking of putting together something like a nonprofit or something like that will help those people as well.
That would be awesome.
That's one of my dreams to do, for sure.
I would love to also have that place of giving back and really helping give that hand, that step up, so people can have that guide and that help. Yeah.
Right. Also musician, like performing artists, I want to help as well, especially now, since it's been such a struggle with the pandemic and everything.
Because there's nothing going on. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. Let's talk a little bit about the collaboration piece of a business. Because in my coaching and in my course, my program, we talk a lot about getting visible and getting yourself out there, right? And I work with women entrepreneurs, and that's a big thing for a lot of women. They don't want to get out there, and so big, such a big part of it is, getting out there where your clients can find you, right? And know that you're there. And a part of that is this whole world of collaboration. That's a huge way to get yourself out there. So talk a little bit about that and how you help people collaborate.
Well, so the max lead formula, that's what that is related to, and the leads, that's an acronym as well. So the L in the word lead stands for leverage your CAPS. Now, CAPS is also an acronym. And see, I like acronyms.
I can tell. I have a few too.
So C stands for clarity. So if you're not clear as far as what problem you help people solve, and also who you help people with, if you're not clear on those two things, then your collaboration partners aren't going to be clear either, and they're not going to know who to, if you're a good fit for them, or if anyone that they know you could help. So clarity is a really big thing. And then the A in caps is authority platform. So, like create some type of platform that you can be put in front of your audience. So you can be known as the expert, and they can ask you questions. You can answer them, and they can communicate with each other, that kind of. So Facebook groups are a great way to do that. Of course, going on podcasts, that's another way to build and being, of course, a podcast host like you, that's another way of having an authority platform. So then the P in the word caps is the person of influence. So what that means is a person who has the same audience or connections or network that you do, but they offer different services. They have different services that complement yours. So like if you're a health coach and you help people lose weight, maybe you would want to have a POI that's a person of influence, who is someone who sells supplements or some other kind of health offering that you can collaborate with as well. And then after that is the S in the word caps is similarity. So meaning you should be able to be like-minded with each other. The person, your relationship lasts much longer, and it's much more enjoyable if you have people who have similar values, similar goals, similar attributes. You're on the same page, because if you connect with somebody who's not on the same page and you just can't agree on things, it's just not as enjoyable. It wastes a lot of time and energy. So there's a way to do that is you get together for a little interview and you ask them these questions. And actually they're kind of like coaching questions. So if you're not a coach, you'll be turning into wondering. So basically you're asking them what their goals are. And so by the end of the little interview, you can call it connection call or something. You will know each other. You'll be able to relate to each other. The other person will have been able to open up to you because you asked these open-ended questions to them. And so it's a good way to determine and identify the best collaboration partners that you could possibly have.
Just the caps itself is like a whole thing. Like that is huge. I found myself spending a lot of time talking to people that are not a good match for me, or not marketing to the same audience as me. And you're right. Like if you know that ahead of time and you have a strategy with your collaboration, who you're going to collaborate with to leverage that, like that piece right there, the L with the caps is like a course.
It is it is like a course in itself for sure.
Yeah.
And that's only L out of the word leads.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So just to reiterate, the L is leveraging the relationships, and the caps is what was C again?
Yeah, leverage your caps. So C is clarity.
Leverage your caps.
And then
clarity, right?
The authentic A is authentic platform, or not authentic, authority platform.
Okay.
The P is a person of influence, the person who has the audience that you have as well. And then the S is the similarities, like the values and So
love it. So you guys could write that out and like use that as your guide as you're meeting with possible. Okay.
It's like a framework for collaborating. Yeah. And then the E in the word leads is for engage. So for building relationships, you're not really supposed to like just sit back and wait for people to come to you. Like you're supposed to actively.
You're not really?
That's where the piece, when making a list of people they want to appreciate, that's where that comes in too. Engagement. So A is, the A means assets and opportunities. So it's great to have an asset. So like I was talking about, the authority platform falls into that. I have a list of 15 different types of assets. And they can either be assets or they can be opportunities. Like you're a podcast host, so that's your asset. And this is my opportunity. So you can turn them into either one or the other type of thing.
Right.
Another one is like co-authoring a book, maybe, or contributing to a book. So there are lots of different opportunities or assets you can set up. So that's the A. And then D is develop relationships, and that's the interview thing that I was talking about, where you would interview the people. That's develop relationships. And then S is scaling up. So that's if you want to create like several collaboration partners. And then just even have a little team of people that you want to collaborate with, or have a team of people who can just refer people. You can do reciprocal referral partner back and forth, or you can do like a one project with several different collaboration partners. So the potential is great to be able to scale up with collaboration. And that's the whole leads.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow. So yeah, I mean, collaboration, there's a lot to it, a lot more than I ever dreamed. But potential, like you said, is huge for getting yourself out there in a big way without having to buy a bunch of ads. You create these relationships with the right people, and then you're promoting each other, and you can even do affiliate referral fees and make some money referring other people, and they refer you. And it just puts you in front of your target market more directly. It's huge potential there of growing and scaling and expanding.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
It takes time to do.
It does take time.
You're developing these relationships and you're finding them. And it also, like your method, obviously you've shown like it takes some strategy to do.
Correct. Yeah. So you don't have to buy any ads or anything like that. It's all relationships. And I also have people set up a database of potential collaboration partners or referral partners. So you just make a list of people that and then as you meet more people, you add more and more, and 100 is the goal. And so it's a running list. So let's say you talk to this one person and it didn't really work out. So you take that person out, put someone else in. So you just keep that running like pipeline of potential partners.
Yes, and you're reminding me that I started that list and I have not been keeping up with it. That's where I need an assistant,
Right.
Yeah, you've got to keep track of the partners that you've been talking to, and also the ones that you are already working with, that you've made a deal with. Like, I'll promote this webinar of yours on such and such a day, and then they promote you. Like, you've got to have that on calendars and all that, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to promote 2 or 3 different people the same day. That's just way too much.
Exactly. Yes, for sure. So I have my little CRM. It's like it's a spreadsheet, really. And you just keep track with different pages of, these are my people that I'm going to do this with. And that can help you keep track of what you're doing and who you're talking to. That's also true for LinkedIn. You end up talking to so many different people on LinkedIn, you really have to keep track of who you're talking to. One time I wasn't doing this, keeping track of people. So I started talking to someone, and I was talking about something else that I had talked to another person. And then the person was saying, what are you doing? So that's when I said, I have to start keeping track of this. This is too embarrassing, talking about something else that I had been talking to another person.
I would love to spend a few minutes talking about LinkedIn, because I know I have more leads on LinkedIn than I have on Facebook, and yet I'm not really utilizing it like I should. What are some strategies that you would recommend to like start to tap into your leads there, or your, I don't know, potential partners in LinkedIn?
So let's see. Some people think that having a LinkedIn account isn't really for them because their potential clients aren't there, which could be true, but your potential partners are there. So you want to be able to be present, have a good profile, have it all set up, speaking directly to the people that you might who might read your profile. And the other reason to have a good LinkedIn profile is there's also a public profile. So that means anybody who's not even on LinkedIn can look. They'll Google your name. Like, say somebody thinking about hiring you, so they'll Google your name to check you out, and then your LinkedIn link will be there. So even though they're not on LinkedIn, they're going to still be able to see it, because they're going to be checking you out. So it needs to really speak to whoever it is that you're working with, and also to your collaboration partners, so they can see what you actually do, and how you're doing it. So, but one of the first things I have people do is to take your list of your first connections. The first connections are the people that you connect with back and forth, just you and the other person connected with each other. Second level is your first connections. So it kind of goes that way. But so what you want to do is to go to your, there's a way to download your list. LinkedIn lets you download a spreadsheet of all of the people that you have in your first connection. So what you want to do is go through all the names and decide if they align with what it is that you're doing in your business. Because if you've got friends and people who aren't really like connected with what it is that you're doing, then the algorithm is going to notice that, like when you post content in the newsfeed, and so not that many people are responding because you've got all these unrelated people on there, LinkedIn's going to think, this content isn't that good, so I'm not going to show it to that many people.
Oh, so, oh my gosh.
So if you have a list of people, just hodgepodge, just anybody that's on your list, you have to purge and you have to disconnect from the people who aren't aligned with what you're doing. So the algorithm will be much more friendly to you.
I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, probably half of those need to go.
Oh, really? So you just highlight the people that you want to like disconnect with on the spreadsheet, so you can keep track of, okay, so all right, I'm going to get rid of this person. I felt really bad when I had to do it to my mom, but
sorry, Mom, nothing personal.
Sorry, Mom.
I still love you.
Right.
Oh
That's
my
so funny.
gosh. It's only business, right? It's just business.
It's business. For sure.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Yeah, I never thought of that with LinkedIn. So this is really interesting. Like I said, I know nothing. I just like connect with whoever, people want to connect with me. I'm like, sure, we're not. So interesting. Good information.
Like a lot of people in my connections, like I can tell a lot of people reach out to me because they want to sell me something. And then sometimes I just try to decide whether I want to accept their connection or not. So because I look at their profile to see, could this be somebody I could maybe collaborate with? So when I reach back out to them, and it turns out they're just out to like sell me something, I said, never mind. It's not even a relationship yet.
Yeah, that happens a lot on LinkedIn, I've noticed, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, that's
like I'll connect to someone, then the very next second, I've got a message from them. Hey, you want to sign up for my program? I'm like, I don't even know. No.
Yeah, that's why you have to be kind of slowish in your communication with people there. Just sort of get to know them, ask them questions. How can I support you? What are you up to? Kind of thing. So that's how you get those people are much more willing to stay with you when you do that. For sure.
Yeah, I have noticed a few of those too, that are just kind of trying to strike up a conversation, and, then I'll be more likely to respond to them. But this is really helpful because I haven't really had a LinkedIn strategy, and I know there's a lot of gold there, a lot of potential there. So
there is. It's a definite gold mine there.
Yes, I need to mine it. So there's always stuff to learn, right? We can always learn and grow.
That is true, for sure.
So tell us a little, I know this program is have already started by the time this episode airs, but tell us a little bit about your Ultimate Collaboration Academy, because maybe the people listening when this airs can catch it next time around.
Oh, true. So basically it is geared around the whole max leads formula, because like, how you were talking about the L in leads, it could be a whole program. So that's pretty much, that's what we go through all of those steps. And we also, LinkedIn, since I'm a LinkedIn specialist, that's one of the main things that we work on at the beginning. Like the first 2 months of it, every other week, we go through and just help people optimize their profile, make it look really great for whoever it is that they want to attract, make sure their banner and their headshot looks good. And so it's all all of the necessities that you need for your LinkedIn profile to look great, and also how to start a messaging campaign. I have some templates that have little scripts with what you can say to some people, just some ideas how you can say it, so it's not not going to be pushy or salesy sounding. It's just some scripts that I have developed through the years that have been really helpful, and people respond back to them. So that's the main thing, is to message people as soon as you connect with them. Like you connect and then that's it. That's what a lot of people do. But as soon as they accept your connection, or you end up being connected, you immediately send a note saying, "Thanks for the connection. I look forward to be connecting further. Thanks," or something like that, with no agenda, no sales pitch or anything like that. Just acknowledging them that the two of you connected, and then hope that we can connect further. So that's one of the things that you can do first. And that's how you build the database, or your connections, is just to reach out to, and you have to search as well. I'll show them how to search for people in their target market. That is really amazing, because what you do once you find a search, like you search for, let's say, teachers you want to look for, you put teachers in the search bar, and then press people, and then you'll see like thousands of people that fall under that criteria, because they put that in their profile. And so you save the link in your browser and put it in a spreadsheet, so you always have that link that you can go back to. Let's say you reached out to there's 10 people per page. So let's say you do 3 pages in one day. So that's 30 people. And then the CRM that I have has a place where you can put the page number the next page number that you would want to start with. Let's say, so you would put page 4, because if you did 3 pages, then you do page 4. So then you put that link back in there, go to page 4, and just continue on. You can have one search for many weeks, many weeks, as long as they fit the criteria that you want. I must have like 10 or 20 different searches, because they're just 10 or 20 types of people. Wow. Like music therapists, psychotherapists, or things like that. So it keeps you busy.
Yes, it takes a lot of time. I'm just sitting here thinking, I need an assistant just to do that. But that sounds like a phenomenal program. And I haven't heard of anybody, with quite that program before. So I know you'll do well. And
oh, cool. I know there are other, the JVIC, they have a really big program, right? Helping people collaborate. Right. I think mine is a little bit different, just because the structure, how you start off, and you can start with different platforms that you want to, like if you feel like you don't want to do a podcast right now, you're feeling a little shy about it, then you can just start something else that is a little bit more aligned to you, and then you can move up to doing podcasts kind of thing. It's not like you don't have to be JV ready like they were talking about. This is all about you and your personality and connecting with people, basically.
I love that. So I think probably a lot of women listening to this would want to take advantage of that and connect with you. And we will have all your links in the show notes so that they can find out more. Yeah. So I know you have a freebie for my audience. What's that all about?
Oh, yes. It's the 7-step Power Referral System. And so it's 7 steps on how to attract reciprocal referral partners. The first step is to decide what industries match yours, and then decide the people in the industries that that are in those industries. Then you start from there, and then you set up the interview. So there's like seven steps that you follow. The last one is repeat and rinse and repeat.
Yes, love it. I will put that in the show notes so they can just click on it there and get that free. I might get it too. That sounds, really. I've been sitting here thinking I should be in your program, actually. But so I'll have to talk about that later. That sounds so fabulous. Yeah, you offer so much, and it's all really helpful for that part of your business that a lot of women don't know. How do I even, start this thing? And to have somebody take you step by step by the hand and with acronyms that you can remember and just the system. It's always so much nicer to have like some kind of a system to follow and
Right, right.
show you like the whole thing with the LinkedIn. That in itself is huge.
So many people aren't. LinkedIn isn't their main source of, social media platform. So I like helping people discover how LinkedIn can really be powerful for their business.
Absolutely. And it's been on my to-do list for forever to learn more about LinkedIn. So this has been a great conversation for me too.
Great.
Yeah. So well, I really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing all your wonderful pearls of wisdom. And
thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to say, women out there, definitely those of you that are listening and that this relates to you, just grab that freebie and go check out what Wendy's doing. You might want to enroll in that program next time she launches it, or just reach out to her and see how the two of you can collaborate and work together.
Sounds great.
Before we go, I always like to ask, if I remember, I don't always remember, but I like to ask my guests what emerging fearlessly, the name of this podcast is Women Emerging Fearlessly. What does that mean to you? And where have you like overcome something to really emerge? Because I feel like women really get inspired when they hear other women that have overcome some of the same obstacles they're facing. And they can look at you and say, well, she did it. Well, then maybe I could do it too. Because that helped me a lot before I started my business. I looked at women that were over 50 because I thought, well, am I too old kind of a thing. And I started looking at all these women that started things in their 50s and 60s and even 70s. And I was like, wow, if they did it, I can do it too. So I like to bring that into like, what did you do to emerge fearlessly, to go after your dream and your passion?
So growing up, I played clarinet for most of my life. And so I had this sort of crutch. Like I can play my clarinet in front of thousands of people. And then when I got into the coaching industry, I had to take my clarinet away and start talking like to people. And that was totally, I was really scared and nervous. And that was a big adjustment because of the clarinet not being there. I was making music and people were listening to my music, but now people had to start listening to my words. And so that going through the coaching program that I went through really started with me being able to just effortlessly just come out and just start talking to people, just giving people my thoughts and my insights and things. And so we actually had programs that we had to go do. We had to like speak in front of other groups. It was just petrifying for me. And then just doing it over and over just helped me realize that, some of the things that I'm talking about, people don't really know about. And people were actually getting some value out of what it was I was saying. And so I think that's what the main reason was, because I've just figured everybody knew what I knew, but turns out not everyone knows what I know.
That's such a common thought. It's so interesting.
Right. So once I started thinking about that and thinking, oh, I'm going to be actually teaching some people things that I know and they don't. So that's sort of what helped me become less fearful to just speak out. And I'm still working on it too, but I've come a long way from it for sure.
And that's huge. Like you're right now advertising for my course, because that's what we do. We have the practice speaking and forming the words and speaking them out. And the more you practice it, and the more you get used to hearing yourself talk and sharing your ideas and your opinions and what you're thinking. And then you start to see, oh, it has value. And that just boosts your confidence, to do it some more.
Exactly. I didn't realize that about my clarinet. I thought, oh, I could do this. And once I put my clarinet away, I said, wait, I don't have my blanket or my security blanket anymore.
Yeah, it's like this crutch. Like me and the piano, like if I'm behind the piano and just playing music, I'm good. But then I had to come out from behind that and start talking and teaching. And I love that you brought out the thought that, well, I think that everybody knows what I know. So what could I bring of value? But that's not true. You have your own perspective, your experiences, your knowledge, like what you've learned is different from mine. It could be the same topic, but you could have a different perspective, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And it can teach and it can help people.
Yeah, different insights. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's very enlightening, and it can really boost your confidence when you really realize that, oh my gosh, it's that credibility. Like I have something of value. Not everybody knows, and people want it. So yeah, let me.
And if people do know it, like you said, it's just a different perspective on it. Yeah.
Nobody has your perspective on things. Like, writing a book is one great example. People get stuck. They want to write a book, but then they feel like I went through the same thing. Like, this has all been said before. What do I have that's any different?
Right.
But it is different because nobody thinks like I do. Nobody has the experiences that I have had, and
correct.
Let it come through you, and then it's different, and people will like it. Not everybody maybe, but it's not for everyone. So
it's not for everyone, right?
Well, if you had to leave our audience with the one word of wisdom, what would it be? I know I put you on the spot there.
Oh gosh, I would say shoot for the stars and just go for your dreams and don't give up, and get someone to help you to get there as well.
Love it. Yes. Great pearls of wisdom. Well, thank you again, Wendi, for coming. This has been great fun.
Yeah, thank you for great conversation.
Yeah, awesome. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. And as usual, until next time, go out there and be confident, be real, and be you. I hope you enjoyed that episode and got a lot out of it that will help you on your journey to becoming fearlessly confident. If you would like to know how to work with me to help you to become fearlessly confident, just email me, Janelle at emerginglifecoaching.com. You can also go to my website. There's lots of great resources on there, including a free mini course called Be Confident, Be Real, Be You. It's a 3-video course with downloadable action guides that will definitely help you to get on this journey to becoming fearlessly confident. My website is emerginglifecoaching.com. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be fearless, be confident, and be you.